You're watching Force 13's live streaming service.
Tonight, Typhoon Muifa is pounding Ishigaki as a Category 2 typhoon. And now the latest around the wide world of tropics. Live Tropical Weather Bulletin for September the 12th. Typhoon Muifa is the main thing that we are continuing to monitor today, just east of Taiwan as a Category 2, low-end Category 2 thankfully. Tropical Storm 15W has also formed in the eastern western Pacific, and Danielle and Earl are still both post-tropical cyclones in the northern Atlantic. Right now, the formation of 15W marks 56 storms so far this year. Day 104 of Atlantic hurricane season, and we are seeing a 20% area of interest, which is going to emerge off the coast of Africa. 20% chance, as I just said, of development on that one. And we are also giving Exenyo a 20% chance of becoming a subtropical cyclone again. We'll have to wait and see what happens on that one. And that video has done that, unfortunately. I think I selected the wrong video, unfortunately. There's already a blooper. Alright, here should be the right file. Let me just skip ahead here real quick. That's fantastic. But as you can see there, day 104 of Atlantic hurricane season there's already a blooper. Fantastic. Hopefully this switches over to the eastern Pacific here in just a moment. It will, and we do have one area of interest over there. 50% chance of development there. National Hurricane Center are a little bit higher on that, but we're just a little bit more uncertain on what I think is going to happen here in the eastern Pacific. It looks like there might be one system might try, or another system might try, or maybe both might try at the same time, so really going to be a 50-50 shot right now. In the western Pacific, Muifa is still a Category 2 just east of Taiwan. Tropical Storm 15W is intensifying and moving eastwards. It will make a northward turn, and 92W, a 70% chance of formation, probably going to form and could be a threat to the mainland Japan on the western side of that. In the Indian Ocean, unfortunately, luckily, nothing is active here, considering that we've already had 2 surprises already this Northern Hemisphere season. Let's not hope that we don't have any more. So obviously the main thing tonight is going to be Typhoon Muifa, and I am now joined by my live team, consisting of a few people here. Let me just bring up this list here. We have Christian, Dino1, Patrick, Daniel, Jose, and Marley. How are you guys all doing? Let me just fade you in here real quick. There you guys go.
Greetings.
Hi. Hello. Yes, we are good.
Hello.
We are good to go, I guess. Yeah.
Well, that's good. If you have any questions or comments, or maybe some reports that you'd like to send in to us, feel free to do so in the comment section down below. But we're going to go right to Christian's screen here, showing a live camera. I believe this is on Ishigaki. I believe this is where it is. I believe.
Yes. So this is Ishigaki. Right now they're in the eye wall of this typhoon, and as you can see, like it's very windy over there, and I'm not. Once again, I also believe I can hear some rainfall coming from this webcam as well.
That's more so wind, to be honest, probably.
It could be. I mean, I am seeing a few bits of rain, but yeah, like you said, it does look very windy. So it could be either. I mean, you can also see the camera moving a little bit as well because of the wind.
Yeah, so it is fairly gusty over there. I know that it has had some calm periods, but Muifa is still just south of this island and is moving probably north at a measly 4 miles per hour. Luckily, this is much weaker than what we were starting to see it now. Last night we were thinking that maybe it would be around 140 miles per hour sustained winds right about now, but luckily it's around 100, so it's 40 miles per hour weaker. Mainly due to this storm has completely stalled to the south of this island, and is in the same area where Hinam-nor stalled. And as such, those cooler waters that Hinam-nor induced in the environment, Muifa is now over, and that is, as such, why it is a weaker storm right now. We have one question here. Could 15W become a typhoon? Yes, JTWC do forecast it to become a typhoon. We'll have to wait and see on that. I know that the JMA, I was looking earlier, they weren't forecasting a typhoon, but the JTWC is forecasting actually a low-end Category 2 typhoon at peak, but no land areas are going to be affected. Is that someone driving out during this typhoon?
You know,
It is.
normal.
The hell?
That is
They're just so confident.
interesting. Now, Tenyo, I said that you
Maybe they've got places to be. But yes. Yeah, maybe. But yes, obviously if you please do not go out in this in weather like this unless unless absolutely necessary.
I mean, to be honest, I mean, these Japan Islands...
That's another car!
I mean, these islands, they're actually pretty resilient to typhoons, so impacts I expect aren't going to be that bad, to be honest, on these islands.
I bet for some of these people it's like a normal day in the park.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I mean, obviously this part of the world is resilient to many types of natural disasters.
Wow, surprise.
And considering fact, last week they just went through him and Nor, and that was what, Cat 4 when it was going by there?
No, it was weaker. Like,
It was
Cat 3?
Cat
maybe
3-ish.
low-end Cat 3, the high-end Cat 2, so not much stronger than Muifa was.
Is.
But impacts weren't really that bad because these islands, you gotta think about it, they're in prime typhoon area, so they go through typhoons, maybe, I'm just thinking of like an average, maybe 4 times a year. It's pretty active in this kind of, in this part of the world as far as typhoons go, so they're used to this, and it's just gonna be something that's gonna happen.
Sea surface temperatures are also very warm in this region, given with higher latitudes. So
Yeah,
definitely,
that is true.
it is very primed for typhoons. And to be honest with you, we've seen multiple typhoons in the past. How many typhoons have we seen in the past month? Like 2 or 3?
We saw Hinano for one.
Yeah, in the past month, this is number 3. We had Tokaj, and we had Hinamnor, and then we had this one.
Now Muifa.
Was
Damn.
Ma'on a month ago? Within a month ago, I don't remember when Ma'on occurred, but that was a typhoon as well, so that would be number 4 maybe. But anyway, we do have another question here. Will that invest with a 70% chance become a super typhoon? Probably not.
No. Which invest is that? Is that 92?
Yes, that's 92W. I'll pull up some imagery on it. It is looking really good, honestly. So let's see what we've got here. I'll switch over my screen here, of course. So here is a look at Invest 92W. Looking fairly good. Of course, you can see that there is some rotation with this. And we are, of course, giving this a 70% chance of development, as it looks to be... It's going to keep on moving west-southwest, and it's going to move slowly westwards over the next maybe 24 to 48 hours, and then it's going to move northwest towards Japan, where it could strike as a significant typhoon, or maybe even a weak tropical... well, there's a lot of possibilities with this system. It could be anywhere from a moderate to weak tropical storm to maybe even a Category 2 typhoon. We'll have to wait and see on that. But you can see here is just the GEFS ensemble tracks, and you can just see a potential track ranging from the East China Sea all the way up through towards Japan. So it appears that Japan impacts are going to be likely from the system. To what extent, we can't really say at this point. But if you are in Western Japan, I would continue to monitor this system very closely. Another question here, does 92W have a center? It's hard to say exactly if it does. I wouldn't probably classify this as a tropical cyclone just yet. It looks like that it might be open on the eastern side maybe a little bit. Well, I would recommend waiting on ASCAT to see if this is a definitive tropical cyclone yet or not. I did see that you did have a sea surface temperature up, Patrick. I don't know if you wanted to comment on that real quick.
Yeah, I have it up now. So basically what we're looking at right now is that we're looking at a very, very primed and very... I'm just going to explain it in 2 words. Very primed. These water temperatures are going to be within 30s to upper 20s, which is very prime for typhoons. Now, given the fact that we're going to be seeing a bit more warmer, or cooler actually, right near Shanghai, I would expect this to actually weaken as the sea surface temperatures begin to cool, which you can kind of notice here that they're kind of dropping into the mid to upper 20s. And yeah, basically, given these cooler sea surface temperatures, although they're still very hot, they're just not as hot as 30 or 31. Most likely, we're going to see a weakening phase, considerable weakening phase, in my opinion, before this gets to Shanghai, which is the best news. However, prepare for the worst, but hope for the best.
Yeah, I know that that ocean heat content and sea surface temperatures are really across the board in the Westpac are well above average right now.
Well above average, 100%.
So the Westpac is very favorable on sea surface temperatures. So if we have a typhoon that develops east of the Mariana Islands and heads into these conditions with low wind shear and overall favorable conditions, maybe we could see a big typhoon out of this. But that's quite an interesting thing to see. The sea surface temperatures be like that all the time. This in the Westpac. I know that
if you do look up towards Japan, however, I think what's going to most likely happen is that maybe we won't see a significant typhoon threat for Japan given these very cool sea surface temperatures.
Well,
However,
hold on 1 second. You're looking at sea surface temperatures north of Japan. South of Japan is what we need to look at.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at I'm looking at the wrong location. I apologize.
It's all good. But yeah, if you have any questions or comments, you can send those down into the comment section down below. And I guess that we can do our regular look here around the tropics. So here is a look at the North Atlantic right now. We have this area of interest here. I might be able to turn on the formation area outlook. There it is. National Hurricane Center giving this area of interest, which is coming off the coast of Mexico. I just said Mexico. Africa. A 20% chance of development. And it appears that...
Mexico.
Shut up. But a 20% chance of development on this.
Great job, Ethan.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
You're doing such a good job.
And here is the remnants, or what is it's just Danielle. Very very interesting. I don't really know what to call it. It looks horrible. Obviously, this is on the edge of the satellite imagery, of course. But we are giving this a 20% chance of development into a subtropical cyclone. We'll have to wait and see on that. And here is what was a disappointment to all of the Atlantic fanboys. Earl, still vibing, as I call it, out in the
Really?
tropical.
Really?
You do realize that there was a lot of problems with Earl going all the way to Cat 4. You had a very, I would not say it's a wide pocket of vertical shear, but there was a lot of vertical shear problems with Earl. It was trying to survive off that open pocket of weak shear and warm sea surface temperatures, but it got vertical shear to all hell and back, and that's probably why it never got even up to major hurricane status. It was just struggling to fight off the vertical shear, and there's several problems with why Earl didn't get up to what people were forecasting.
Just to answer a question real quick, would he do a track animation on Typhoon Hinam Nor? Yes, that is coming. I can guarantee that is coming at some point. To what exact date, I can't say exactly. But looking across the Atlantic, the subtropics region of the Atlantic, fairly dead as far as any activities goes. Not that much activity. I can turn on the visible imagery here. And I think that's broken. I selected the wrong thing, actually. There it is.
This is a fantastic stream.
Sunset falling over falling over many areas, but subtropics in the Atlantic fairly dead. We do have a bit of thunderstorm activity in the central part of the main development region. This won't develop into anything major though, and that's probably just going to peter out at sea. Gulf of Mexico having its usual thunderstorm activity. We'll have to wait and see on what the Gulf of Mexico has in storms. Activity later on in the season. But as far as tropical cyclone activity goes from the Gulf of Mexico, someone in the team, correct me if I'm wrong, but we only had one system in the Gulf of Mexico so far this season, I believe.
We had.
That would
I
be
think
two.
there was.
Alex and
There-
Bonnie.
Yeah.
You mean
No,
Well,
Bonnie
Agatha
wasn't really in
the
the
Agatha
Gulf.
crossover.
There was like two
crossover.
there was two invest in the Gulf of Mexico that never got a chance to form. I think there was one that made landfall in Texas, but only had like I forgot how much percent was it, but I just remember there was one that actually made landfall in Mexico, then moved up to Texas.
We've had two tropical cyclones in the Gulf of Mexico, one being Alex and one being Bonnie. However, Alex was
Bonnie was in the
basically the
Caribbean Sea.
Agatha.
Bonnie
What?
wasn't in the Gulf. It was in the Atlantic.
In the Caribbean Sea. But Agatha was the Agatha Alex crossover. Basically, kind of entails that Alex was technically our only main. We haven't had one tropical cyclone from like that goes into the Gulf of Mexico. If I can't word it right.
Yeah, but as far as tropical cyclone activity in the Atlantic after Danielle and Earl, looking fairly dead. It appears likely that this area of interest is going to peter off in the Atlantic and not become anything too major. It does have a brief window development, but probably not going to do anything overly big. Going on over into the best basin in the world, National Hurricane Center did have they've gone up to, I think, a 70% chance now, I believe.
Yes.
Can someone just double check that for me? I just want.
I will verify.
It's a 10% chance in the next 48 hours and a 70% chance in the next 5 days.
Really?
Verified. Yes.
They've gone with a 70% chance. That's interesting. Of course, we're down at 50. So it's very interesting what's going to happen here in the Eastern Pacific, because we're going to have two areas of low pressure, or two thunderstorm areas try to form a low pressure area, and maybe one of them becomes dominant, maybe over the other, or maybe they both become dominant. That's still some uncertainty that still has yet to be worked out, and that's why we're lower at 50%. But it does appear that something is going to come coming out of the Eastern Pacific within the next week. I must note that models last night and in particular this morning were suggesting that the system might strike the coast of Mexico, and now it's looking like that the system is going to stay more out to sea, and it's probably going to take, I can actually draw an arrow here. Looks like it's probably going to take a more west to west northwest track. There we go. I got it eventually.
You good?
Yeah. But as far as the rest of the Eastern Pacific goes, fairly sedate. I don't know if we... Oh, there it is. There is the remnants of what was Hurricane K still living on in the Eastern Pacific. I'm quite shocked to see that it's still living on.
Oh my.
Can he just die already?
I think because there's still a low pressure system associated with that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, there is. No thunderstorm activity with the center of circulation, though.
Probably kicking up surf on the California coast, southwestern California coast, and northern Baja California. Probably kicking up
it
surf.
looks like that.
Last time I checked, the storm was actually getting ash from the fires north getting sucked into it.
That's interesting. I'm just looking at this now. The outer bands of the remnants of K earlier in the day actually prompted a severe thunderstorm warning or two near the Los Angeles and San Diego areas.
Probably
Wow.
because
That's interesting.
Probably because of the outer rain bands.
Wow.
That's very interesting, actually.
Please tell me that any storm that passes or goes to California has never made a single severe warning.
I had no clue.
Or there has been a couple.
But the rest of the Eastern Pacific, we can look down towards Hawaii. Fairly usual thunderstorm activity. But once this area of interest goes and develops, we'll have to wait and see what happens in the Eastern Pacific. But not looking like that anything else is going to develop out here in the Eastern Pacific. Pretty much shut down as far as that concerns me at this point. A lot of the activity here in the East Pac is going to be limited to the eastern part of the basin at this point. Western Pacific, I can actually get imagery. It's on the edge of the satellite there, but there is Tropical Storm 15W. I can pull up better imagery here on Levi Cowan's website. There is 15W. Looks like that's dealing with wind shear in the latest images. But a fairly weak tropical storm right now. Our latest fix gave it winds of 40 miles per hour and a pressure of 997 millibars. But this is forecast to become a significant typhoon as it heads eastwards and then to make the turn off towards the north over the next 4 days. And then the DWC forecast it being post-optimal by day 4, I think. Can one of my team members bring up the JTWC's cone on 15W real quick?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, cool. Thank you. But we can take a look at a much wider visible shot of 15W. It's got, while the exact center of all the concentrated tropical storm force winds may be very small, this storm's influence is actually quite massive. You can see, almost going to portions of the international dateline.
Interesting.
Huh.
Yeah, but this is going to take a...
However, very lopsided.
Yeah, with that being said, it is very lopsided. I'll try to pull up a wind shear graphic, of course, that just gives us just an idea of what the wind shear is over the storm right now.
I got the cone.
I'm trying to hold on. I think I got one. Give me a second.
I have the cone for 15W up.
Yeah, I got some.
Yeah, it looks like that 15W is dealing with about 15 to 20 knots of wind shear right now. So there is some wind shear over the center of circulation. That cone is now on your screen, by the way. But the JTWC is forecasting a peak there of 85 knots. Interestingly, though, going from 100 miles per hour to 70 miles per hour in 24 hours. That's quite some rapid weakening.
Probably given the cooler sea surface temperatures near that region.
Well, I imagine that wind shear is going to be an issue for the storm as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's definitely going to be some wind shear problems with this.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do have any comments or questions, you can send those down to the comment section down below. Someone is asking, will 92W receive a local Philippine name? I don't think it will. I think it's just north of the Philippine area of responsibility. I can look up the Pagasa area of responsibility real quick. I'm just looking it up on my other screen here. No, it's actually going to stay north of Pagasa's area, so this will not be getting a Philippine name. Just another question here. Did hurricanes hit near California before? I know that we have had some hurricanes pass near Hawaii, but of course, not Hawaii. I don't know why I just said Hawaii.
Wow, great
California.
job.
That's the second time this stream. But
Nathan's gonna be so proud of you.
Thank you. When will 15W get its name? It could honestly get its name at any time. It could get its name during the stream if it honestly wants to. Next name on the naming list. Next name on the naming list is Merbok. I remember tracking Merbok. 2017, that hit near Hong Kong as a strong tropical storm. That was quite the time back then, track tropical cyclones. So, Christian, I know that you've still got this imagery up, or let live webcam on conditions just north of Muifa, which is our main discussion for this stream. Still some people driving around, but looks like that maybe the rainfall is letting up a little bit.
Yeah, the rainfall is, well, it's getting stronger, I'll put it that way. I've noticed a lot more, and I mean, there's a lot more camera shakiness as well, which I think, I think the wind's also picking up as well. Obviously, for those who are just joining us, this is a webcam in the middle of Ishigaki, which is right in the eye wall right now. So we're looking at conditions over there. And like I'm saying, yeah, the rain and wind, I believe, are picking up. The visibility is deteriorated as well, as far as I've noticed. And yeah, so again, conditions are deteriorating, to say the least, but people are still out and about getting their daily errands done, which, even though this is an area that's used to typhoons of this nature, still wouldn't recommend it, because you never know what could happen.
Yeah. You never know. A tree could fall down in the middle of the road without you knowing.
There goes someone driving in the middle of the storm.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
overall, as far as the wind speeds go, looking at
doesn't look that bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad. It really isn't.
Yeah. Right now, just by looking at it, it kind of just looks like a moderate tropical storm right now. Just by looking at the palms.
I
They're
would
not
say
like
this is at least strong tropical storm force, but I mean,
Look
still,
at-
I mean, strong tropical storm force can cause some damage. It can cause sightings of houses or maybe some parts of roofs to still come off.
It
So
could also cause major flooding as well.
yeah,
All-
yeah, that's going to be a big issue with this storm, the flooding issues, because this storm is basically just sitting just south of this island right now, and just constantly causing rainfall over this island.
I'm also noticing that its northern extent of the eye wall is actually enlarging, which would lead me to believe that that could be a sign of something to come.
It is worth noting that this typhoon is actually weakening right now, so maybe winds.
Hence why the
given it.
northern eye wall.
Yeah, of course.
Hence why the
we've,
northern eye wall is decreasing.
Of course, we've given it winds of 100 miles per hour. That's a low-end Category 2. JTWC are higher at 110 miles per hour right now. Of course, JTWC are coming out with a new fix at top of the hour, so we'll have to wait and see what the JTWC run with on that. So maybe there is the chance that the winds might be a little bit lower than that. We'll have to wait and see on that. But as far as the storm looks on satellite imagery, here it is. We'll loop this here. Looks, honestly, as far as Western Pacific typhoons go, it looks pretty horrible.
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying, like, this system is it's stalled pretty much north of Ishigaki, I think north anyway.
I want to see if Simus has ocean heat content. I think it does somewhere. Yes, it does. Oh dear. There is the, I'll full screen this here, and I'll actually zoom in a little bit here. So that way we can have a little bit of an extra look there. All of this blue area is basically showing that this is below average for ocean heat content. Basically saying that it is that the sea surface temperatures that are in this area don't go down very deep, so there's not much ocean heat content for the storm to take advantage of, and it's just sitting over this area. So it's not going to go anywhere really for the next 48 hours, and it's just going to just move through here, weakening probably a little bit. I know that it's also dealing with maybe some slight wind shear, so this is still going to be affecting these areas for the next 48 hours even. So of course these impacts are going to be felt for quite a long time regarding this pretty significant typhoon moving through these regions.
The wind shears wind shear is supposed to go up sooner. So I think it's gonna be the wind shear.
I will pull up the latest Storm Typhoon Warning Center forecast cone on Muifa, and here it is. You can see they do forecast a very close pass to the Shanghai area. So maybe this might be bringing some impacts to the Shanghai area. Strong winds, heavy rainfall, flash flooding, mudslides, all part of the package with this typhoon. Though it's going to be moving fairly quickly when it moves through those areas. So it's going to be like it's going to move through in about a day and it's going to be over with. It's not going to be a prolonged event like it is going to be for the Ryukyu Islands down here. So if you do have any comments or questions, you can send those down to the comment section down below, and we'll answer those in due course. I see that you've got some satellite imagery up, Patrick, on Muifa. Do you have any comment on that right now? I'm not sure where he's gone. Daniel, I see that you have some imagery up as well.
Yes. I can just jump to radar.
Yeah, we haven't seen radar so far this stream, I don't think. So, but that eye is fairly large, and you can just see that eye wall constantly pounding Ishigaki. Constantly. Which is where Christian is still showing his live cam. And there's more people chatting about.
Is there, seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think these people actually don't care that there's actually a typhoon right on top of them.
Yeah, I'm gonna see on here if I can see it as well. Give me a sec, I have to switch.
Ooh, that's actually a nice radar.
I don't know if it has a tool for this, Daniel, but can you see how wide that eye is from you?
It does not have a tool.
I think I can measure it. Let me measure it on Zoom Earth really quick.
Okay.
At least
Now
that would
I
give
trying
will
us.
to
pull
fi-
up radar scope on my end.
For
and we'll
me,
see.
it's 41 miles wide.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, yeah, it's like it's very hard to see. But
These
like, I think
these storms are usually like probably I would say max 5 miles wide of an eye.
wow. No, this is 41 miles wide. That's what I'm picking up on the Zoom.Earth measurement.
Boom. My brain just went out the window.
So it looks like someone is reporting in
Probably.
chat that the winds measured so far suggests that this is only probably a mid to strong tropical storm conditions right now being taking place on Ishigaki. So maybe the worst is yet to come as far as the wind speeds go.
Yeah,
Where
they're
are
90.
they right
They're
now?
90%. Sorry, I'm gonna say really quick. They're in 90% chance of tropical storm force winds right now.
It's
Pretty high.
I almost say that it's almost 100%. It's probably ongoing right now, probably.
Yeah, I should say 100.
Someone asking
For,
why is the eye so big on Muifa? Well, for starters, this storm underwent an eye wall replacement cycle. That's what made the eye so big. And second, this thing has basically just stalled, and slow-moving tropical cyclones tend to have their eyes get larger a little bit. So of course, when you factor in the low sea surface temperatures, or low ocean heat content, I should say, the eye wall replacement cycle, the slow movement, you're gonna have a pretty sizable eye storm, and that's what we have right here regarding Muifa. Could we show models? We'll be looking at models in just about 10 minutes or so regarding the models. So we'll have to wait and see what the models show. I haven't had to look at the 18Z GFS, which will be my raw reaction on that.
Can I add something here for the Typhoon Muifa?
Sure, go ahead.
Right now I was looking at windy.com and I just saw that Muifa's eye wall was invisible for at least. And I just saw another cyclone invest from the right of my screen. I'm sharing.
Yeah, that invest would be 92W.
92W?
Yep.
Well, I think so. Because I think that the Typhoon Muifa is gonna strike down Ishigaki and merely missing Taipei.
Taipei I don't think is going to get that bad of an impact regarding this storm. Maybe some heavy rainfall at worst, but winds aren't going to be that bad. Someone asking in chat, why do we think that the Atlantic has been so weak thus far? Thoughts from the team on that?
Fantastic question. We have no idea.
I don't know why it's so quiet.
Now, I
Please tell me you
myself,
did not hear that voice crack.
I myself am not really into climatology that much when it comes to the Atlantic, so my best guess would just be unfavorable conditions have maintained themselves for a bit. Of course, I would like to mention that we are still running an automated stream. If not, I think it might have ended. I don't think it has. Let me just double check here real
I
quick.
think it's still running, maybe?
Yeah, that automated stream has ended. Yeah. So, but we were doing that on that typhoon.
Ethan, can I just say something about the rain right now? I said next 24 hours is like right now 7.78 inches of rain right now.
On Ishigaki?
Yeah, on Ishigaki. Yeah, right now, yeah. There's like 7 inches of rain right now. I'm looking at the windy right now, so
I haven't had a look into rainfall totals, but I imagine it's going to be pretty high regarding this typhoon.
yeah. I'm using the next 24 hours, or I've been. I said as I go up to the next 10 days, it shows 10 inches of rain right there in the next 10 days, but
Wow.
that's gonna be a little out.
Someone's asking thoughts on Danielle trying to gain subtropical characteristics and possibly reform. Thoughts from the team on that?
I
Don't
Don't-
pull a Paulette moment.
For me, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
I
have
mean,
to agree with that.
There's like a jet stream right up north where Danielle is, so I think
I
it's
think
like
so.
tearing it apart. Yeah, there's
I,
actually there's normally a jet stream up north, right? It's always there.
I think so. Danielle
Yeah.
is just kind of just sit there and probably peter out. Though there is, I have heard from some team members that there is a slight chance that this could become a subtropical storm for a brief period. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But my guess right now is probably not regarding Danielle.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Really, as far as what we can show you is just really what's going on right now in Ishigaki regarding Typhoon Muifa. Typhoon continues to weaken, as we've been saying, still moving slowly north. DGWC currently movement for this typhoon is actually due north at 5 miles per hour. Though it's probably a little bit slower than that even. So probably around 4 to 3 miles per hour. So it's still moving very slowly.
Is it me or did I just saw something flew right across the camera,
It might have
like a
been.
piece of? I don't know. It's like to me when I looked at it, when it just flew, it looked like a piece of wood, tiny wood. I'm not sure. I swear I saw something, or probably it's just the rain.
Someone is also asking in the chat, the East Pacific was so strong, it has been so strong this year. Last year it wasn't as strong as this year. Is this true? Yes. Eastern Pacific was actually, well, we are about to get, I'm just looking up the next name. I believe it's, Lester, I believe is the next name in the Eastern Pacific. Yes it is. So that is the L name. And by this time, last year, we were actually looking at, we just had, we were actually having Olaf dissipate on this day today 1 year ago. So 2021 was actually ahead of what we were now. But of course, at this point, after Olaf, the East Pacific completely shut down until really late October, really.
They can't get over that name.
What, they just use Frozen's name now?
I guess.
Let it go. Let it go.
Shut up! Don't get
Stop
me
it.
copyright claim.
No.
Singing a song can get us a copyright claim, so don't.
I would just like to
Aside
mention,
from Olaf, I think it's Hurricane Elsa in the North Atlantic.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was last year. I would just like to
Yeah.
mention, though, real quick, we do have a Discord server that you can join down in the description below, or you can type in on your local web browser discord.gg/force13, no space, all lowercase. And we have many chat rooms there where you can chat with our team members and our general community about tropical cyclones. I believe we have 4,000 people in there, I believe. Yes, just over 4,000 members in there. So we are a growing community. Come on down and have a nice
You
chat.
can join us for shenanigans like this.
I wouldn't necessarily call it shenanigans, but
It's shenanigans. Just accept it.
let's go ahead and I guess we'll have a nice conversation here, and I will go ahead and start generating the model section. This will just take me just a little bit of time to generate it on WSV3 here. So I just have to just wait for it to load here, and that will take just a few minutes.
Oh, the camera's moving. Is there any reports on higher gusts right now?
I don't think there is on Ishigaki, but overall, as far as things go on Ishigaki, I mean the wind is picking up. I mean it's still pretty windy.
Camera is moving a little bit crazy right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still in the eye wall. Like, which eye wall? Are they in the weaker eye wall right now?
I think so.
Yeah, I think they are right now. Weaker side of the eye wall. I mean, since it's been weakening, but not sure. But I think they're in the weaker part of the eye wall. That's why it's not that strong.
Yeah, it's
Man,
it's actually hard to say what part of the eye wall is strongest, but looking on radar, it does appear that the northern side might be the strongest, though like I said, this storm is continuing to weaken right now. So maybe there's a chance that this is probably down to a low-end Category 1 now. Maybe.
May I say something about
It
Typhoon
has to be a
Muifa?
Category 1 right now.
Sure. Go ahead, 1.
So, speaking of Typhoon Muifa, for the prediction scheduled on Zoom Earth in the screen I shared, I did expect that it was gonna deteriorate. It would be formed into a strong typhoon first, and then deteriorate back into typhoon, and then it will make landfall in Shanghai, and then on the parts near Weifang.
Now, it is worth noting that this did originally peak as a Category 3 last night, while it was just south of where it is now. HEWC actually upgraded it this morning at 6Z on the UTC clock to a Category 4, but they've actually since overridden that down to a high-end Category 3. So that's something interesting, but of course this storm has weakened and it will continue to weaken as it moves northward. I don't know if, Christian, you could pull up the ATCF on another monitor that you have. Has the 0Z ATCF came out yet by chance?
If you'll give me a moment to get that up, I can answer that for you.
While Christian pulls that up, if you do have any comments or questions, you can send those down to the comment section down below. Model section is still generating, just about done. So we'll be getting on to models here in just a few minutes and see what insanity the 18Z GFS has in the wide world of tropics.
To answer your question, ATCF don't have any 0Z data up right now.
Well, that's unfortunate. Was hoping that it would by now.
I mean, if it helps, I can show you what I mean.
No, I'm fine.
You're good? Okay, cool.
Right, the model section is, I think it's actually done. So let's go ahead and, I just said that twice. Let me pull up my screen here, and we'll go ahead and go over to the model section here. I'll actually share my own screen for the team here, so that you guys can get a reaction out of this.
Stock you?
I mean, I guess you can call it that if you want. But let's have a look at this area of interest that's going to come off the coast of Mexico here. There you can see
Africa.
it emerging
Africa.
there, right there, and moving through that area of interest. Doesn't really develop into anything and sort of peters off as it moves eastward throughout the North Atlantic.
The high pressure system is in place over that region, so most likely it's going to get teared to shreds even if it develops. I don't even think it has a good window of development because that high pressure is situated over that region, and that thing is going to get absolutely teared to shreds before it can even develop into something.
Let me just pause this main timeline because I can see it in the background going. So now we're getting into the pretty long range here. This is on the 23rd, so this is
something in the Caribbean.
Yeah, so this is 12 to 13 days out. So this is getting towards
never
southern
mind.
range now. There's something in the Caribbean Sea. Tropical storm intensity right there. Of course, take this with a grain of salt. But maybe something trying to develop there. Hit to Jamaica, believe it or not, and then passing northern Cuba. I believe that's a hurricane right there. Yeah, that's a hurricane.
I think it looks like a hurricane. It looks like a hurricane at Jamaica.
Yeah, I think it was.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right
Take it
there,
with
right
a-
there. Yeah.
Take it with a
There it
grain
is.
of salt, obviously. Just take anything that's like over 140 hours out with a grain of salt because the
Okay.
GFS, it could be just a road run. However, if we see more model consistency, then we would have to look out for that.
Absolutely. But maybe something trying to develop off the east coast of the U.S. as well, along this front, maybe. Maybe.
High pressure system as well is going to tear that thing to shreds as well.
Yeah. But
There's
you'll
two highs.
But you'll notice here, I'll loop this. Throughout the entire period, look at this. Nothing forms outside of the Caribbean Gulf.
There's no way.
Nothing.
It's
Nothing.
There's an upper level low as well over the or just north of the main development region. So most likely, this is why we're not seeing anything, because the upper level low is so strong.
But that's very, very, very interesting. Moving on over into the best basin on this planet.
No.
You can
Not
see here
necessarily.
GFS developing that Eastern Pacific area of interest quite rapidly, actually. Developing it into a decent hurricane, actually, in just 4 days. And then you
Wow.
can see it moves off towards the west, maybe striking the coast of Mexico. Another system maybe developing right behind it on day 5 and day 6. So maybe that might be something else to watch after the system comes through. Maybe Madeline might be on the way. Of course, I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but just something to watch nonetheless. But you see both of those systems moving through, and of course, what is that?
Little
Is
baby
that
tropical
just,
storm.
What is
is
that?
that just some little?
What is
that
that?
just
Yeah,
some
that just
low
came out of
pressure system
nowhere.
with the
Hold on a
It's a little something that wants to make Ethan go insane.
Hold on a
It's a
second.
little
dear.
low pressure system in the Bay of Campeche that wants to do the funny, but obviously it's
Can we just
GFS.
can we just talk about this thing's track for a second? I'm gonna hit the play button. Look at this thing's track.
Play it. Play it.
Do 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 do.
I'm
What?
sorry, what?
What?
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
That looks like a
It
more
doesn't
drunk
track like
Katia
this.
from 2017.
That looks like one of those.
What?
That looks like one of those situations where you
I'm
have.
sorry, can you play that
basically-
again?
It's
My
like a
brain-
it's a
I'm not
It's a
kidding.
Danielle. It's a
I
Danielle.
lost
what?
tons of brain cells. What is
Okay,
Force
may I
13?
say something about this?
Of course, this
No, no, no,
is
Size as well.
this is very long range, so don't take this with absolute certainty. But that's interesting. I'm
That is.
What is life right
extremely
now?
Weird.
I
What is
Then
will
may I
say,
say something about this?
I will say I have seen weirder on the long range.
I think someone wants to say something.
Wait,
about
what's
this
what's
season.
Was
next
that
tomorrow? A category
or
5 in the
was that a
Atlantic?
brief hurricane?
Marley, you were saying something?
I was just saying, is it just me or did I see that as a brief hurricane?
I think it actually was a brief hurricane, actually.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yes.
get some
Right there.
wind speeds. No, that strong tropical storm right there.
Hey, does the GFS want me to just go crazy or
No,
what?
Like Ethan said earlier, take
Yes.
everything with a grain of salt,
I think
even
Yeah,
though
but-
it can make you go
this is a
crazy.
strong tropical storm, but I don't think it ever get. I think it might get close to hurricane on this run, but doesn't quite
How-
get there.
I want
Hurricane-
to ask a question. How does it make it circulate around in the Bay of Campeche and do a 360 loop to loop and then just go straight into Mexico? How in
60
It
Uga
must-
Booga Booga.
it
Oh,
must
no.
be some front interaction or some low pressure system interaction. that
I knew someone was
can't
gonna say
describe.
something
I
like that.
cannot describe.
The rest
cannot
of the
describe
Eastern
that wrong.
Pacific, as far as the models go here, you can see the remnants of K moving southeast and then sort of moving back into the Eastern Pacific main region and teetering out there.
My.
But nothing
Which would
else
probably
really
increase
happens in the
moisture
Eastern Pacific.
for the
Ethan,
Southwest
anything
United States.
in the Central Pacific for Hone?
Central Pacific.
No.
I don't think there is.
Come on, Hone, you have
no.
some time
Come on,
left.
Hone form.
Nothing. Sorry.
No.
Hone.
Oh
Western
man.
Pacific. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh
This is
boy.
Oh, please.
Where
Ethan,
the
So
where
there's
things
Mu-
take
so
off.
there's Muifa.
We've actually got some breaking news here, folks. HWC are downgrading Muifa to 100 miles per hour and a pressure of 966 millibars. This is just coming out from the ATCF system. 100 miles per hour, 966 millibars at the next Storm Typhoon Warning Center advisory in about 2 hours from now. That's just come out.
Okay.
Back
Fair
to
enough.
you.
That is
I would
good.
agree with that.
That is
I would agree with that because it's stalling and it probably is
Yeah.
losing its organization. Given the northern extent of the island.
Here's Muifa. Model initiation, suggesting that this is around what it actually is, surprisingly. Well done,
Oh,
GFS.
wow.
Well done.
Well done, GFS.
So
GFS
we'll
got
put
something
this into
right for the
motion
first
here. Off it
time.
goes. Slowly weakening as it passes through the East China Sea. Maybe passing, apologies for that, very close to Shanghai, and then making a final landfall, and then it will rapidly move off towards the north. And there is 92W, which we'll get to here in just a moment. and moving into portions of western North Korea, where then eventually it'll rapidly weaken, and it'll be gone by next weekend, maybe even earlier.
Will
Right.
North Korea attack us just for a storm?
Regarding Tropical Storm 15W, which I've heard some rumors maybe about to be named, we'll have to wait and see on that what the GMA does. You can see here GFS takes it eventually off towards the east and then makes that northward turn, developing it into a typhoon. What looks to be there. We can have a look at what wind speed that is. Solid Category 2 intensity right there.
Yeah,
As that typhoon
I had a
moves
feeling it's
northward.
that too.
Was that a Category 3 there? I think. No.
Please.
Okay.
Ethan,
I
don't
think-
don't even bring this up right now.
Model color tables are a bit of a
Very lost brain cells to that site. That
Very
hurricane.
close to
Very close.
Cat 3.
Close, but not quite.
Very close.
And you can see there.
It's a model run, so you know,
post
you never know.
92W looks. You can see there's the air vorticity. That is 92W, right down there, and that ends up
Was there-
moving slowly over the next 1 to 2 days, and eventually gets to move on, develops into a tropical storm, and then looks to pass or makes a typhoon landfall. Is that Category 2's intensity right there? Yeah,
Ooh.
quite
Yes.
low end Category 2 right there. Landfall in Japan.
In Japan.
Yeah, I was gonna
Ethan.
say, was there like an area to watch in the Western
That's
Pacific?
thing is-
Another line, huh?
Does that scrape up the whole coastline?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just- yeah, it just did.
Oh no.
Right, folks, brace
Yep.
for impact. Long range GFS. Let's see what it
Oh,
has
no.
for the Western Pacific.
God.
So this
Another
is going,
hurricane.
Time to lose some brain cells.
so this is going into.
I
So this is a week from now. A significant typhoon developing out there.
Jeez.
Lord,
Really large.
give me strength.
No, Japan.
I think that's
Japan.
Category
Oh, no.
2 intensity right there. Yeah, that's
Okay,
Category
that's
2
good enough.
intensity.
please no,
Oh.
please
And
just no, just
No
not
idea
right
what's
now.
happening here at very long range, but this is.
Oh.
End my misery right here, please.
I've seen crazier. I will say that. I have
Uh,
no.
look at
clue
that little. Look at that little cute little system.
What is that doing in the
Ethan,
South China
what's
Sea?
next for the silly range? A freaking
Wow,
Cat
it's a
5
tiny
typhoon
one
making
there.
landfall in China?
Oh my god. Oh, wait, what
Oh
my
intensity
gosh.
is that?
God.
Oh god.
Okay, what
That just-
what intensity is that?
Okay,
This
let's see.
TWB has just
Oh my.
into
Oh.
That
crazy.
looks Cat 3 right there.
that is
No,
high end cat 2.
Let's see.
that is high end.
What is
two.
going?
Nope, that's cat
Oh.
3.
That's
Cat
cat
three.
3.
That's cat 3.
Knew it.
On the long range GFS. Not going to happen though. But
Hopefully
Okay.
not happen.
just commenting on this.
Hopefully it
So,
won't happen.
what the heck is this track? So it forms from this elongated area, develops here, moves northeast, stalls for a little bit, moves east, decides, okay, I want to move
I
south,
got it.
and then turns west, and decides to go towards Hainan, and then look, in the final frames of the GFS, stalling again.
And what's it gonna do? Turn back towards the west?
I don't know. It might have been.
Oh,
forward.
back towards the east, maybe.
The east.
Have to wait
Might
for
crash
it
into
to
the
be
Chinese
continued
island.
meme. Dun dun.
I will put this in a
We'll have-
Fortnite language.
We'll have a brief look at the Indian Ocean here. I'll just let this play here. I don't think anything's going to happen here. No, doesn't look like anything's going to form here. Something
There was a circulation.
something moving up into Bangladesh and
Yep.
eastern India there. Regarding, don't you dare tell me. Okay,
Nope.
These surface
about a
temperatures
sec.
are kind of cool in the Indian Ocean right now. They're at like the mid to upper 20s. So although they're prime for that for development, they're not that prime up to where it's at north.
Oh my gosh, when they form in the Central Pacific in 2026.
I'm sorry,
I-
what is that?
If there's a low pressure system that goes with a close center of
What, that
circulation,
big?
we
At
have
at the top of the screen.
Oh, this.
Oh no!
Oh.
What is
That-
that?
That
Oh
is
my God.
that is actually your
Hone.
that's actually your pretty standard northwest U.S. Pacific ex-tropical cyclone that could.
Is
bring
that an
some-
atmospheric river?
I've heard
Oh
some.
my.
I've heard some rumors that it might try to become an atmospheric river, so maybe something along the lines of that for some areas in the western U.S. coming up. We'll have to wait and see on that, though. But
That's not going to be good if that
yeah,
happens.
but you can see
though,
here the
'cause
northern
you're-
Pacific.
I was like, yeah, what is that?
Alaska about to
Okay.
get slapped.
I think that's your pretty standard northern Pacific system. But wow, that's
Cyclone, but
going to be some pretty
Please.
strong winds.
Ethan, I have a question about this.
Sure, go ahead.
Since there was an extra tropical system forming across to California, I think if this forms into a hurricane, then I might panic.
Okay. Please.
But yeah,
Wait.
as far as
I'm not-
go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say, if I'm not, I swear that I don't know if history was correct. I don't know if I'm correct in the history. Like there was like a Cat 3 hurricane that made landfall in California back in 19. Shoot, forgot what year was it? 19 something.
I
Like,
have
it was
no
like
clue.
1900 to
hurricane
1999.
that was known as the San Diego hurricane in 1898,
Yeah, there is that one. That one didn't impact California.
and then there was a tropical storm in 1936.
I just asked, what are those squiggly lines on WSB3 right now in orange?
This,
Unrelated to what's going on.
uh,
Unrelated to what's going on, but
all
are
these
those-
boxes.
those are thunderstorm warnings. Oh, they
No,
must
though
be.
these are special weather statements that I have for
Oh, damn.
for U.S. stuff. But regarding the next 5 days in the Atlantic, we just have this one area of interest, 20% chance of development. We have X and Yell up here. I can turn on the satellite imagery here. Just give me 1 second. And there
I would
it
actually
is.
give that. I would give the AOY
There
a
it is. There's
0
Danielle.
to 0, honestly.
20% chance given by our cyclone analyst team of becoming a tropical system. East Pacific area of interest, natural hurricanes here at 70%. We're at 50. We'll have to wait and see on what happens with that. Western Pacific, we are continuing to monitor Muifa moving through Ishigaki, still bringing impacts for the area. We'll go back to the live camera here in just a minute. 92W with a 70% chance of development, probably going to become a strong tropical storm headed for western Japan. Stay tuned if you're in those regions for potential impacts. And tropical storm 15W, probably about to be named Murbach, headed out to sea. Going back to this live camera as I pull up our On This Day segment. Christian, what are we looking at now on Ishigaki? Calm down a little bit, maybe?
Yeah, it looks like it's calmed a little bit, if I'm honest. Obviously, earlier on, they were getting quite hammered in terms of rain and wind. But, like I said, now it appears to have calmed down a bit. There are still drivers on the roads, believe it or not, which is not something we recommend doing, especially in conditions like this. But it looks like visibility's brightened up a little bit as well. Not by much, mind you, but still has by quite a lot. Like we're saying, not as... What was that? Not quite as dreary as it was a few minutes ago. But you never know. It could get worse. Seems like the wind's picking up now, actually.
But as
Rain.
far as like typhoons go, it's actually pretty bright out there.
Yeah, which is surprising, really. I mean, again, this is only like what, Category 2, 100 mile an hour.
Probably a handicap 1 now, probably.
Probably, yeah, that probably weakened by quite some time, but it doesn't look too bad
What is that guy doing?
as far as. Yeah, what is he doing? I'm pretty sure that's an illegal move.
Yeah, folks. What we have to move
On
on
4K.
Here. We have to move on here. Let's go to our On This Day segment. Let's have a look at what was on this day in the wide world of tropics. We're looking at September the 12th, 1997. That's the wrong thing. There it is. On this day, we had Hurricane Linda, very powerful Category 5, out in the Eastern Pacific, second strongest ever recorded. Tropical Storm Erica was moving through the North Atlantic. Aliwa was weakening from its powerful Category 5 peak in the Western Pacific, and Tropical Storm David had just formed in the Eastern Western Pacific, and would move gradually westward and eventually would dissipate out at sea. Very interesting to see this compared to what we're seeing now. Of course, 1997 was the new year. So, the next name in the Atlantic naming list, as probably everyone knows, is Fiona, followed by Gaston the cat. In the Eastern Pacific, maybe about to occur, Lester and Madeline look to be terrorizing the Eastern Pacific on the GFS. We'll have to wait and see on that. Lester is the next name, as I said. And everyone all together, next name in the Central Pacific.
It's Hone.
There's
There you
no
Nanmadol is up after Murbach. Of course, I've colored it in prematurely, as it's probably going to be named pretty shortly. After Nanmadol, it is Talus. In the North Indian Ocean, Sitrang is up next, followed by Mandus. In the Australian region, Darien, followed by Ellie, is the next names over there. Southwest Indian Ocean, Ashley and Belita, interestingly names. In the South Pacific, the next name is Hale, followed by Irene. I'll have another Tropical Weather Bulletin tomorrow night.